Imagine watching The Lord of the Rings and Frodo in the middle is just like, you know what, this ring stuff is getting really stressful. I'm about to just turn around and go back home. We would all yell and be like, no, about face, turn back around, like keep going. The reward is worth all the things that you're about to go through. We trust conflict so much in stories, and yet we fear it in our own lives because we are Frodo. We are the ones in the middle of the plot, not knowing what is going to come next and experiencing fear, experiencing doubt, and experiencing paralysis, when really we should just all imagine ourselves being watched, maybe not, by invisible people. And knowing that the question is in their mind, like, oh my gosh, with all of the struggles that this person is experiencing, with all of the pressures against them, what are they going to do? What are you going to do with the tension that's in your life? Like, imagine a conflictless story. It would be so boring. I wrote one when I was 6 years old. There was farm animals. They woke up out of their little holes and crevices. They went down to the creek. They ate something, and then they went back to bed. And I gave it to my mom. And she was like, well, the characters' names are really nice, honey. Describe the setting really nicely, but there's no conflict. Every story needs conflict. And then something went off in my mind, and I'm just like, what? Why? And she went on to explain to me that that is what drives the plot of the story. That's what makes it interesting and worth telling. When we turn on a movie or when we read a book and it takes a long time to get to, if we say something like, oh my gosh, this is like nothing is happening in this movie. In fact, a lot could be happening. But what we're looking for is, where does the problem begin? We're looking for what's called the inciting incident in story building. The inciting incident is essentially when tension or conflict is introduced into the plot and it begins driving it. A lot of times during this time, the main character does not know what to do and has not yet taken the reins over this conflict, right? So it's really just being introduced to the audience and all of the details associated with it so that we can really understand in just how many ways this is going to ruin the life of the main character. But yet, even though it looks like everything is falling apart, we know that eventually this conflict will be resolved through the persistence of the main character, right? Of the protagonist. And I think we just opt out of so much juiciness when it comes to engaging with the conflict that's in our lives. It's like, instead of hiding from the plot thickeners, wanting relief from all the plot thickeners that are in our life, we mistake peace for progress and like struggles with, like, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision or a bad decision, or maybe I'm on the wrong track, when really, no, that's just a part of life that everybody experiences and goes through. You can make the right choice and still have a hard time to get through X, Y, or Z, because that is what stories are based off of, which is our life. Stories are based off of our life. We inspire stories to be told. I never mentioned this in my previous videos, but I'm a classical pianist. I play Chopin, his nocturnes and waltzes. I'm working my way through them. And the parts that I find the most beautiful are where the tension is introduced to the song. It could be in a specific key signature, a specific time signature, and the tension is introduced and it's growing and it's growing and it's going towards the climax. And I listened to different renditions played by different pianists of how they hold the tension, how they introduce it, with what tone, like maybe if it's in a key signature, all the notes that are being pressed are outside of that key signature. If the tempo of the song is introduced one way, the tension and the climax are in a completely they're completely opposite. Maybe they're like super fast and super loud, or maybe they're subdued and quiet and there's a lot of silence, in between notes. But there's so much beauty in how the tension is held, because the satisfaction of the resolution comes from the fact that we all experienced the tension. And that's what moves people when they're listening to classical piano. Like, I love making people cry when I yeah, play my songs, and they wouldn't be crying if there's just this like happy hokey jokey song. No, they're gonna cry because they can hear the story being played in their ears. It's easier to look at another person's life or like watch a movie or read a book and then have this innate trust of the conflict and that everything will work itself out. But when it comes to us, like our brains hate conflict. Like we interpret uncertainty as danger. We want like utmost clarity before acting, like we think that not having strong feelings is the way to go. Or we're rushing to the end of the chapter. You would never turn on a movie and just be like, just fast forward to the end so that I can see how this all plays out. No, the most interesting part is the messy middle. Like, what is the person going to do when all of these darts are coming at your way? That's what makes life worth living. And forgive me if this is a little bit morbid, but like when a person passes, right? There's a beauty in that it's a close to their book. And then I think about like what marked the beginning and end of all the chapters in their life, like what drove them to make different decisions or to enter new realms. Who were the supporting characters that were always there? Who were seasonal like C-list characters in their life? What effect did they have? Like what was the setting of their life? What was the backdrop of their story? And in thinking about all of that, like all of the middle parts are what make stories worth telling and what should make life so interesting and like enjoyable to live. Because while you may be grappling with this problem or this challenge or this person or this situation or this circumstance, like how are you going to dance with it? Like how is it driving the plot of your life? What pressure is it putting on you to make different decisions for? What is the utility of this conflict? Because there's always utility. Is it pushing you to do something else? Pushing you to like change your relationships? Pushing you to change your perspective? Is it going to give you more discipline to get to certain ends? And so, yeah, this is something I think about so frequently. Like, what if we trusted our lives, the direction of our lives, like we trust the direction of stories? What if we just like let the plot develop and look at ourselves as a character who doesn't know what's going on right now, but is embracing the mystery and moving forward in order to see how their story resolves? That's all I have for today. Yeah, I just think it's so high time to like rethink the drivers of our lives and recapture that main character energy. Like, let your plot thicken, jump in and have fun? All right, I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye.